Alright, you guys read the title of the video. Before we get started, hit that like button if you enjoyed, since it really does help out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this video started. Now at number 10, I do have Jerami Grant of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now Jerami Grant in Detroit, he put up some career numbers. That being said, he didn't lead his team to a whole lot of wins, so in a way, they were kind of empty numbers. But now he's on a much better team in Portland, and I think he can still contribute to a winning team. I mean, he's got a pretty good skill set as a 3-and-D forward who can also create his own shot a little bit. So, on the Trailblazers, I think his numbers will take a little bit of a dip, but I think he should post up good numbers and, contribute to a little bit more winning. But last year, he did average 19 points per game, 2 assists per game, 4 rebounds per game, and he shot 43% from the field and 36% from 3. Now at number 9, I do have Tobias Harris of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Tobias Harris, he's pretty much an above-average starter, and I think he's mostly just a really good offensive player. He can stretch the floor well, and along with that, he is also pretty good as a self-creator, and, overall, just another nice source of offense to have on your team. Now, the contract he's on, it's massive, and he's not worthy of it. The good thing is that I do believe it expires in 2023 free agency, which is obviously next free agency, so that is nice. But yeah, Tobias Harris, even though he is on a massive contract, he's still a really good player. And in 2022, he did average 17 points per game, 3.5 assists per game, 7 rebounds per game, shooting 48% from the field and 37% from 3. Now at number 8, I do have Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Evan Mobley, he's one of my favorite players in the NBA already, and he was awesome last year as a rookie, and, even though he didn't win the award, and, Scotty Barnes did, he definitely deserved to win it. One could argue that Evan Mobley should have won Rookie of the Year, but Evan Mobley, offensively, he's pretty solid. He can definitely score the ball and grab some boards, and I do believe that one day he could potentially be a 3-level scorer. And then defensively, he is amazing defensively. The guy, as a rookie, was already he became one of the best defensive players in the league. He can defend several positions, and I think as he becomes more muscular and gets more experienced as a player and gets closer to his prime, I think he is going to be possibly the best defensive player in the league. And he was a big reason why the Cavaliers' defense improved so much. But last year, he averaged 15 points per game and 8 rebounds per game, shooting 51% from the field. Now at number 7, I do have Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green is one of those guys, he doesn't score the ball a whole lot, and he doesn't post up monster numbers, but he still finds a way to impact the game in an absolutely massive way. I used to hate him a lot when I was younger, but I've grown to like him. I do like Draymond Green a lot. Again, he's not some lethal scorer, but, offensively, he's still good. He's a really good playmaker, and he also is a great rebounder, and not to mention, defensively, he's still one of the best players we have in today's game. Not to mention, he's a superb leader, and that's pretty much all I gotta say for Draymond Green. And again, I forgot to say this, but he was absolutely vital in the Warriors winning the championship this past year. But last season, he did average 7.5 points per game, 7 assists per game, 7 rebounds per game, shooting 52.5% from the field. Now at number 6, I do have Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson was very good for the Grizzlies last year. Offensively, I'll admit, he needs to improve his consistency on that side of the ball, but he can still be, I think, he can still get better offensively. He really just needs to be more consistent, but he's really not that bad. He can score some points and, also not that bad when it comes to stretching the floor. Defensively, one of the best in the league. I believe he finished like top 3 to 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So, obviously, a great defender, but the big issue with him defensively is the fact that he's still kind of foul prone. And I mean, if he could clean that up, he could maybe be maybe the best defensive player in the NBA. But yeah, Triple J is a really good player, but I do want to say that I really want to see him take that leap to being like an all-star level player because, if the Grizzlies do want to eventually win a championship, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to, become an all-star level player. And this upcoming season is going to be big because if he doesn't make that leap into all-star status, then, well, I gotta say, I have some real questions about what his ceiling is. But last year, he did average 16 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2 blocks per game, shooting 41.5% from the field and 32% from 3. Now, making our way into the top 5, we do have Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. I know Zion didn't play a single second of basketball in 2022, but we know how good of a player he is when he's on the court. I mean, in 2021, the guy was an all-NBA level player. I mean, he was truly spectacular that season. I mean, as a scorer, he's just one of the best in the league. He just dominates that guys offensively. Now, I do want to see him, become a very good playmaker, and defensively, I do want to see him become at least a neutral, but I do think he can be pretty good defensively, and I do think that next year, assuming he plays and stays mostly healthy, well, he is going to play, but assuming he stays mostly healthy, I think he has the chance to get even better and build off his 2021 season. I think, the Pelicans as a team could be really good, but I'm not going to include any stats for this one because he didn't play last year, but all I got to say for Zion Williamson, he's an absolute beast. Now at number 4, I do have Pascal Siakam of the Toronto Raptors. Pascal Siakam is coming off a career season, and he's gaining a lot of respect because of it. I mean, he honestly deserves it. He was fantastic last year. As a scorer, he's pretty good. As a playmaker, he's also not that bad. And then when it comes to his defense, he's extremely good, and he was a big reason why the Raptors had a bounce-back season in 2022. And last year, he did average 23 points per game, 5 assists per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, shooting 49% from the field. Now at number 3, I do have Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis is an incredibly frustrating player like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George because we know how good of a player he is when he's on the court. But, I mean, the issue is the guy's made out of glass and just can't stay healthy, and I really just want to see him have a season like, the 2019-20 Anthony Davis we saw, but he's still a very good player, but again, his ranking is mostly affected by injury, but when he's on the court, very good offensively, pretty good as a scorer, and I really do want to see him, become a great mid-range shooter again, because he used to be a very good mid-range shooter. And then defensively, he's an extremely good player as well. And last year, he did average 23 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. Forgot to mention his rebounding, by the way. My bad. And he also averaged 2 blocks per game, shooting 53% from the field. And our runner-up on the list is KarlAnthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, Cat on this list might be kind of surprising to some people because, he's been a center his whole career, but he is going to be playing the 4 now that the Wolves have Rudy Gobert. Now, KarlAnthony Towns, we know the case with him. Offensively, the guy is he might be one of the best players in the NBA when it comes to his offense. I mean, he's an elite shooter, especially for a big man. Very good at scoring the ball. Also not too bad of a passer, and he can grab boards well. Defensively, he's not exactly a positive, but that being said, he's not a negative either. And, one big criticism of his was, his inability to lead his team to wins, but last year, he was able to make the playoffs and led his team there, and, next year, or this upcoming season, I think the Wolves have a chance to possibly contend for a championship, and if Cat is at the forefront of it, then he's going to look really good, especially if he plays well. But last year, he averaged 25 points per game, 4 assists, 10 rebounds per game, shooting 53% from the field and 41% from 3. And then finally, at number 1, I do have Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this one is pretty obvious, so I'll try and keep this one short. Giannis is still one of the best players in the league and arguably the best player in the NBA. Offensively, great at scoring the ball. Not exactly a sniper, and he's not exactly an elite shooter, but that being said, he can hit a jump shot occasionally, and he definitely has improved when it comes to his jump shooting. Not to mention, he's a very good rebounder, and he also can pass pretty well. And then defensively, he might be the best player in the NBA. I mean, the guy is he's a freak of nature, and he's a beast. And last year, he averaged 30 points per game, 6 assists per game, 12 rebounds per game, shooting 55% from the field. But with that being said, that'll be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Again, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and check me out on social media. Links to my Instagram and Twitter, they're in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.